Monkey King. Speaking of which, Zhu Sheng was from Yanzhou. He was doing business in Fujian with his brother, Zhu Cheng, but he never purchased all the goods. Some people say that the great sage is the most efficacious, and should go to the holy temple to pray. Zhu Sheng didn't know what kind of spirit the great sage was, so he also went with his brother. When we arrived at the great holy temple, we saw endless palaces, terraces, and pavilions, which were extremely grand and magnificent. When I came to the main hall to pay homage to the statue, I saw it was a monkey-headed statue. It turned out to be the Monkey King, the Monkey King. Everyone was in awe. No one dared to neglect. Zhu Sheng has always been upright and stubborn. Seeing this scene, he secretly laughed in his heart that the world's customs were so despicable. While others were burning incense, offering libations, and kowtowing to pray, he slipped away secretly. After returning from the temple, his brothers scolded Zhu Sheng for neglecting the gods. Zhu Sheng said disdainfully, "Sun Wukong is just an allegorical character in Qia Chuji's works. Why do you believe in him so devoutly? If he really has a god, I will bear the responsibility for it myself." When the hotel owners heard that he was speaking rudely and calling the great sage by name, their faces changed color, and they kept waving their hands, as if they were afraid that the great sage would hear him. Seeing this, Zhu Sheng shouted louder and louder, scaring people so much that they covered their ears and ran away. At night, Zhu Sheng was indeed ill and had a terrible headache. Some people advised him to go to the great holy temple to pray quickly, but Zhu Sheng refused to listen. After a while, the headache was gone, but my thighs hurt again. A big sore occurred that night, and even my feet were swollen. It was so painful that I couldn't eat or sleep. My brother prayed for him, but to no avail. Some people said, "This is a punishment from the gods. You have to pray on your own." Zhu Sheng still didn't believe it. After more than a month, the sore on my leg gradually healed, but another sore appeared, which was twice as painful as the previous one. The doctor was called in, and he cut off the rotten flesh with a knife, and the blood flowed out into a bowl full. Zhu Sheng was afraid that people would spread the news about the so-called punishment from the gods. So he deliberately gritted his teeth to hold back the pain, and remained silent. More than a month later, when my sores began to improve, my brother became seriously ill again. Zhu Sheng said, "How is it? You, a person who has worshipped gods, are like this, which is enough to prove that my illness is not caused by Sun Wukong." When the elder brother heard what he said, he became even more angry. He said that this was the anger of the gods being turned on him, and scolded his younger brother for not praying for him. Zhu Sheng twisted his neck and said, "Brothers are like brothers. A few days ago, my flesh was rotten, and I didn't pray. How can I change my behavior now just because my brothers and feet are sick?" He firmly disagreed. "I wanted to pray to the great sage, but I just invited a doctor to prescribe medicine for my brother. Unexpectedly, brother died suddenly as soon as he took the medicine." Zhu Sheng was in sorrow and pain, and he was so angry that he didn't want to live. He bought a coffin, collected his brother's body, and went straight to the great holy temple. He pointed at the statue and rebuked, "My brother is sick. You said you were angry with him, which makes me speechless. If you really have a god, let him. If my dead brother comes back to life, I will be your disciple willingly, and I dare not say anything else. Otherwise, don't blame me for using the same method you used to deal with the three purities, to eliminate my brother's doubts about being under the 9 springs." At night, Zhu Sheng dreamed that someone was asking him to follow him. And when he entered the great sage temple, he looked up and saw an angry look on the face of the great sage. He scolded Zhu Sheng and said, "Because you were rude to me, I pierced your thigh with the bodhisattva knife to express your gratitude. Punishment, you still haven't repented and are still talking nonsense. You should have been sent to tongue-pulling prison. In order to keep you upright throughout your life, let me spare you for now. Your brother's illness was caused by you asking a quack doctor to kill him. What does it matter to others? If I don't use a little magic to bring him back to life now, it will make you arrogant people have something to say. So, he ordered an envoy in green clothes to go and inform the king of hell. The messenger said, 3 days after a person's death, the name of the ghost has been reported to heaven. I'm afraid it will be difficult to handle. The great sage took out a square tablet, picked up the pen and wrote something unknown, and ordered the envoy to take it and go. It took a long time for the envoy to return, with Zhu Cheng following behind, and they knelt down in the lobby together. The great sage asked, "Why is it so late?" The messenger in green clothes replied, "The king of hell did not dare to make the decision. And he asked the South and Big Dipper for instructions from the great sage, so he came late." Seeing that his brother was indeed back, Zhu Sheng hurried forward and thanked the Taisheng for his grace. The great sage said, "Go back with your brother quickly. If you can change your mind to do good in the future, I will bless you." The two brothers were filled with sorrow and joy, and helped each other rush back. Zhu Sheng suddenly woke up from his dream. Thinking about his experience in the dream, he was deeply surprised. He hurriedly opened the coffin and took a look. Sure enough, his brother had woken up, so he helped him out. He was very grateful to the power of the great sage. From then on, Zhu Sheng believed in the great sage sincerely and was more pious than others. The two brothers fell ill respectively, and half of their business capital was consumed. In addition, Zhu Cheng's body has not fully recovered, and the two of them are relatively worried. One day, Zhu Sheng was walking outside the city by chance. Suddenly, a man in brown clothes greeted him and said, "What worries you?" Zhu Sheng had no place to talk, so he told the man in detail about his story. Encounter. The man in brown said, "There is a place with beautiful scenery. Let's go and visit it to relieve our worries and boredom." Zhu Sheng asked, "Where?" The man just said it wasn't far. Zhu Sheng followed him, and about half a mile out of the city, the man said, "I have a little magic that can get us there in a moment." Asking Zhu Sheng to hug his waist, the man in brown clothes nodded slightly. Zhu Sheng felt clouds rising under his feet, and his body rose into the sky, and he flew to nowhere in an instant. Zhu Sheng was very scared and closed his eyes tightly. After a while, the man said, "We're here." Zhu Sheng opened his eyes and saw a world of colored glaze, brilliant and colorful. He asked in surprise, "Where is this?" He replied, "It's the heavenly palace." The two of them walked leisurely, getting higher and higher. Seeing an old man coming from a distance, the man in brown clothes said happily, "You are so lucky to meet this old man." Then he and the old man bowed to each other. The old man invited the two of them to his residence and made tea for the guests. He only poured 2 cups. The man in brown clothes said, "This is my disciple. He traveled thousands of miles to do business. Now, he comes to the immortal mansion to ask for some expressions." The old man ordered the boy to hold out a plate of white stones, shaped like bird eggs, crystal clear and as clear as ice, and asked Zhu Sheng to take them by himself. Zhu Sheng thought that these things could be used as wine chips, so he took 6 of them. The man in brown clothes felt that Zhu Sheng was too stingy, so he took another 6 coins, gave them to Zhu Sheng to wrap, and asked to put them in his wallet. He bowed his hands to the old man, and said, "That's enough." He said goodbye and came out, still letting Zhu Sheng hold his waist, and flew down from the sky, reaching the ground in a moment. Zhu Sheng asked for the immortal's name, and the man in brown smiled and said, "My little magic just now is the so-called somersault cloud." Zhu Sheng suddenly realized that it was the Monkey King, and hurriedly begged to bless him. The great sage said, "We just met the fortune star. He has given you 12 cents of interest. What else do you ask for?" Zhu Sheng quickly kowtowed and stood up to see that the great sage was no longer around. After coming back, Zhu Sheng happily told his brother what had happened. He opened the money bag and took a look together. The stones had already melted into it. Later, I shipped the goods back and made several times the interest. From then on, whenever Zhu Sheng went to Fujian, he would go and pray to the great sage. Sometimes the prayers of others did not work, but Zhu Sheng's prayers were always answered.
Alright, this story has come to an end. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you.